Hi everyone, Gerone Wright here again, and you're with me on my Geronification channel. I want to make a hopefully a quick video here, and I want to discuss some things with you. I've been dealing with here in my last few videos with things here about Egypt and my findings. It's my position that all of our ancient world's art and glyphs and ancient records and texts are all referencing how mankind was truly created, and then there's a systematic way that that there were genetic manipulations and bridgings that described in detail how mankind was bridged over their original founding stones, okay, which came from ape African ancestry, and then from into current through these different Asian and other culture groups and likenesses of mankind that we actually see today. And there is a record, a precise record that explains how it was all done, and our attention has been diverted away from these records. And in some cases, I believe that it was intentionally. In other cases, I think that it was done unintentionally. But the fact of the matter is that we are being steered away from seeing the truth. And through my paranormal experience and encounter, which has enlightened me to see all of these things and understand all of these things, I can bring to you now these videos. Now, I'm doing this all unscripted. Again, I can't say this enough that, and I'm not a scientist, but I do know what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing, and what is happening to me is true. And this is the reason why I can bring you all of these amazing videos. Maybe one day soon here I'll have a team of experts, and these videos will come to you in the expert way that they deserve to actually come to you in. Okay? And I can guide those groups of individuals that will now be under my direction to show you and explain to you in a more expert way of what's happening and what has happened in the past, where we evolved from, and all of the above, because I have the key to everything. All right, here we're in Egypt here with this over the sarcophagi of I guess one of Egypt's great pharaohs. All of these men. Here's the number one. I don't know the rest of these guys. In fact, I might have seen him on one of the televised shows on the History Channel. But anyway, the main guy here, Zawi Hawass, is very famous because he's the leading Egyptian's leading expert in antiquities. Rather. Now, I'm very disappointed in Zawi Hawass because, you know, he done became so intrigued in what's going on in here that he done missed the whole point of what is back here on the walls and what is written on the walls, which in my mind and what I've discovered, he has totally took and misinterpreted and took out of context and is on a false trail, and therefore relaying false messages back to the world and to the Egyptian people. These images, these glyphs on the wall, in this enclosed in this tomb, tells Zawi Hawass how his people are in different variations of skin pigmentation. You see this? Zawi, you're white, pretty much, in color, as opposed to your darker counterpart, which is over here, or these depictions, which are back here. You should be more into understanding how you got to your likeness and the genes of your people, why they are changing so dramatically from the era of what is back here, because this is what is being described. How new genes were created and sacrifices were made by such great pharaohs for this bloodline to be created and extended throughout to where Egypt is today. While you foolishly are on the wrong trail, there are other ethnic groups that are fully unaware of your true identity and your ancestry and the bloodline that was created. And there is records that show where they came into Egypt and destroyed your ancestral bloodline, thereby contaminating same and possibly securing the destruction of all your people. You're genetically being bridged over because you do not realize what is back here. Now, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna demonstrate to you, Zawi Hawass. I have never been to Egypt, and my only closeness into this sarcophagus is through this image with you. Okay? So let me, now you done been on TV and on History Channel many a times, and you have made many explanations of what's going on here. Now, I'm going to show you that you are wrong. I'm just going to show you right here on the back wall in this picture here. It's showing you a reptilian face, mankind's bloodline, and mankind genetics through semen, blood, and then the presence of the reptilian bridging over intervention. This bloodline is shown that this is being laid to rest. As you see it wrapped up, it's captured, almost like a spider would capture a creature in its womb. You see that it's wrapped up. Now, this guy is showing you that he picked up these genetics. He's bridged over these genetics. Now, what is happening? This guy, the reptilian, his long beard, his elongated beard, you know what that represents, Zowie? That represents the tail of the serpent, the genetics of the serpent exiting the body of the reptilian. Now, notice that you don't see that beard there. This guy is the bridger. He's bridged over. However, the second guy that is being bridged over, he is donning those genetics because it's shown right there. Now, long and behold, Zowie Hawass, that the blood and the semen, these genes from this guy, has now re-emerged through this genetic bridging, and they appear here, showing you that she's wearing everything that you see here genetically. Again, through a sequence of bridgings, this guy who is now wrapped genetically, captured, has now re-emerged, is showing you youth through these bridgings, and now this guy is re-emerged. Death and resurrection. And long and behold, Zowie, this guy is not green no more. He's now brown in color, that lighter brown, okay, and showing you that he has emerged with these genes, and look, and the beard is back. Now, shows you again, Zowie, that there is another historical moment in genetic bridging, and now this guy bridged over the creature that calls for the reptilian bloodline to become controlled. This is representing the snake. Long behold, Zowie, is in the hand of this guy. And you know how this genetic became controlled? Through a genetic bridging with that of the lion. And that's why you see this guy wearing the skin of a lion. Because you know what happens, Zowie? It shows you genetic manipulation and bridging with creatures of our world. We all know that the hair represents that of genetics. And this is what this is being shown. And there's the tail of the snake. Now the snake is removed. This guy is not wearing it. He's showing you that genetically he has this guy's genetics, and he has him under control because he was bridged over with that of the lion. And that explains your great sphinx, Zowie. and it has the head of the. Well, I did a video on that too. You have to see that video I made, Zowie. So that's why you have the head of the likeness of mankind, which I'm telling you that those things on the side represents the head of a cobra. So you have a female emerging from the cobra, which represents that of reptilian, bridged over that of the lion, Zowie. This is the same exact thing that's being shown here, because you have a reptilian here, and it shows you how that reptilian genetically bridged through the ancestry of your people to where now they're at this point historically where there was a lion intervention genetics and bridged over. The same exact thing is mentioned in every Renaissance era artist painting, Zowie Hawass. Now, let me show you the other side of that wall that you're staring there and there. The other side of that wall, taken from this guy right here, Zowie, and there he is right there. There's the empty sarcophagus now, because y'all done took the whatchamacallit away. And by the way, Zowie, through my paranormal experience and encounter, this sarcophagus that y'all are leaning into with the hands all in there, you know what I see and what I sense, Zowie, I can feel through my paranormal experience and encounter, that the inner realms of this tomb was painted with the genetics of this man laid to rest. So it's my position that this whole entire area was painted with blood and semen and the creatures that caused for this man's existence, painted inside of there. So you guys leaning in, when these places are open, I hope that you guys are not contaminated in any way, because this is what this is all about. I sense with everything. I become one with this. It's my position that the inner walls of these boxes, these sarcophaguses, I don't know what they're, sarcophagus, tombs, are painted with the genetics of these guys. This is what I sense. This is what I feel. This is what I can see. This is what I feel paranormally. Now, let me go back to this. Reptilian bloodline. Where did it come from? Zowie Hawass is written on the wall. There's a reptilian monkey. You know what that reptilian monkey represents? And I have videos here. You have to see my videos, Zowie. The reptilian monkey was another historical moment in the evolution of mankind where our ape ancestor was bridged over with reptiles, which calls for these likenesses that you have here, Zowie. This is how we are genetically bridged over. And this is how your people came from these colors to the lighter version that you are today, and even darker, Zowie, because there was a time, Zowie, where we were pitch black. And this is what this Egyptian record is all about, is taking off from the time of our black ancestor, our black ape ancestor, our darkest of ancestors, Zowie. And this record, your Egyptian record, is picking up from that time, and it's showing you that how you were changed genetically was through a genetic bridging with reptiles. And this is why you have a reptilian monkey here, Zowie. Now, this is in this sarcophagus, Zowie Hawass. Let's go to somewhere else where it is written on the wall. You see the reptilian monkey there? It shows you, Zowie. You see that the same exact reptilian monkey, but in this case standing. Look, Zowie. Hold on, let me give you the same exact reptilian monkey in its standing position. And look, Zowie, its tail is connected genetically to the tail of what? A snake. Insinuating a reptilian bloodline bridging. Now, in case you don't want to see the different levels of genetic bridging, Zowie, that is showing us with this reptile, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels of genetic bridging, and this is what is being said down here, Zowie Hawass. Shows you how your people arrived at that point in this time, and this great pharaoh was the one that historically oversaw and sacrificed himself genetically to an event that had happened. Now, you let people like ancient aliens and ancient alien theorists tell you that this is an Egyptian light bulb, when in fact you have the founding stone of mankind's genetics, which represents that of ape, African, and other genetics that I know of before then, creatures that contributed to our creation, bridged over. This flower is representing a flower from the tree of life, and from that, Zowie, this is not a filament of a light bulb. This is a snake bent back over in the form of a shepherd's crock, showing you that these genetics, this reptile, was bridged over the tree of life, which is rooted here in the founding stones. Everything that is here, Zowie, is here. And because you don't know the truth about how you genetically became, you allow people like ancient alien theorists, with Eric Van Daniken at the helm of that, telling your history incorrectly, just as you are. That shepherd's crocs out here. Let me put these here. Let me put these side by side, Zowie, so because eventually you're going to see this video. Let me put these side by side. You see this here, Zowie, right there, that shepherd's crock, that staff. Zowie, this is what this is a representation of, right here with the snake's body turned back over. The same exact thing. Do you see the leaf in this guy's hand? You know what that's representing, Zowie? The leaf from the tree of life. The same exact thing. Genetic splicing, Zowie. Do you see? Let me see. Oh. The drops in the snake's body there, that represents, Zowie, the levels of genetic manipulation and bridging. Zowie, this is exactly identical to that. Oh, you don't see the monkey is represented in mankind. Look at the faces, Zowie. It's the same exact thing, representing mankind. What is here is identical to what is here. Let me take this back down. I have a video on that too, by the way. Now, this is how we arrived at this reptilian monkey. This is how we arrived at the reptilian monkey. Oh, hold on. There's our reptilian monkey. And this is what this is stating. The reptilian monkey. It represents a reptilian bloodline and shows you how these genetics were bridged over, and this is suggesting at a point from a time where they were bridging over that of our African ape ancestor and arrived at these new genetics. Now, let me show you in another scenario. Now, I said over here, there is, the skin of a lion. The cloak. This guy is cloaked with that of the lion. Shows you that how the tail of the serpent. How the look. They show you a sequence of genetic bridging. It shows you finally how they defeated the reptilian genetics and were taken out to where they're being controlled now, and they did it through a genetic bridging over the line, which calls for explaining why the great sphinx is the half body of a lion, that of mankind, and now that I didn't disclose in my video that it has the head of a cobra on it. It shows man emerging through all of those chemistries, the same exact thing that's being stated here, and the same exact thing that's been stated in everything else that I showed you, which is actually here and here, and now I'm going to show you again in this. Here's another glyph from Egypt that is popular. Now, this one takes off from the point of here, where this guy is wearing the leopard skin or lion skin, showing you that through that genetic bridging, the serpent is now being passed out genetically, and this is what this is showing. Now, lo and behold, here we have this guy over here now with the skin of the lion or the leopard, and showing you that now these genetics are being bridged. It's a grail showing you where these genetics are going, Zowie. They're being bridged over, and lo and behold, Zowie, look, your people shown here, through these women, and I know exactly what they are stating, and I'm not going to tell you. But look how in color, how they vary in color from what is being said here. The darker version of your people, and look how these women are now lighter in color, genetically being altered, showing you that these genetics that originated from here now being ran back in genetically and being taken back out. Now, notice that you have one woman up. Now, check that out. Now, it's two bloodlines, Zowie. It's two genetic lines. What's happening? Notice how over her head, see how her hand comes back over her head, showing you that those genetics are being sent back at this level, over the head, and then at the lower level, shows you exactly at the feet. It shows you the levels of genetic manipulation and bridging that these genetics are sent back. And now here this is shown again, sent back. It's a recyclination of these genetics which are not dead. It's the same thing that's being said in Christianity with Jesus. It's the same thing that's being said globally with all of our ancient records, showing you how these ancient genetics of our ancestors are still alive today, where they're at, where they can be traced to, and how they are being cycled back over again periodically. And this is why you hear of these people in Christianity, in ancient Egypt, in ancient Angkor Wat, in ancient Japan, talking about their coming back. Because genetically, they never left. It's just the stronger presence of their genetics. They know through a period of time, let's assume 400 years, they know that genetically, through the process and chemistry, through a cocktail cauldron-like way, a cult-like way, these genetics that they created will reemerge at those times. Specifically, you know why they know, Zowie? Because they done it before. And these are why these genetic timetables are created. You can expect for them to genetically emerge at that point. Because they've seen it done before, they know that is possible, and they witnessed it. And you know where else this history was? But you know what? It was probably effectively destroyed. That was our black ancestors. Those that came before you. All of that was destroyed. But through my paranormal experience and encounter, I know exactly how it was done. Because you know why, Zowie? Because our European, our white counterparts, all of them have the same message that you have here in their works, in their encrypted artworks. Rembrandt, Picasso, I mean not Rembrandt, Michelangelo, later Picasso, but I mean not he wasn't a Renaissance artist. Bernini, all of these artists, Da Vinci, even Nostradamus, they all have this knowledge, and in their encrypted artwork, Zowie, they even show and reference how they came in and contaminated the genetics of your people that was created by great pharaohs. If you look and read into this, Zowie, the way that it's supposed to, and it's all referencing a genetic grail, which indicates how from these likenesses came your likenesses, Zowie, then you will understand and can read this a whole lot better. It's not about the glitz and the gold. It's about the preservation of bloodlines that were actually created and where they are at today. Your people have been genetically contaminated by those that you foolishly let come in and misinterpret all of this. Egypt had the key. I can show you where the key is at today. The genetic key, Zowie. You need to take another look at your interpretation of all of this, because you are doing a disservice to the ancestry of your people by not knowing what all of this means and represents. My name is Gerone Wright. This is going to be a short video. I'm only going to make this a half an hour video. Zowie, I don't know how in the world you can miss all of this. I said yesterday in the video, there is only one thing that is more important in this world to who we truly are, and that is our identity. Your ancestors knew who they were. It should bother you that you don't. They knew who they were. They knew how to genetically manipulate it and bridge themselves from a originating source. And the information is out where you're going into untainted areas where the writing is on the wall. And you allow your foolishness from what you already experienced through Europeans, the British, to come in and say that this is all representing that of gods and all of that. Zowie, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Look at what is on the wall, what I just explained to you in layman's terms. It makes more sense than anything in all your ancient Egyptian history, than anything that is out there to date. How can I come and state that, Zowie? What I've just said in layman's terms makes more sense than anything that you have done to date in Egypt, or which is on record. Through my paranormal experience and encounter, I hope that Egypt is listening. I hope that this video go viral in your area, Zowie. And I'm not saying this to ridicule you. I think you're a very intelligent man. I think you're very smart. You're very bright. I just think that you just don't get it. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. I'm also on Alien UFOs. Consider Egypt decoded. Egypt is representing all of these glyphs of Egypt, is telling us how at one point they were genetically bridged over by reptilians, a reptilian bloodline, which helped them evolve from the likenesses of the ancestry that came before them, which was ape and black Africans, and skin pigmentations of darker skin colors. It's written on the walls. It's in all ancient Egypt history, and it shows how from darker versions of these people became lighter, and it shows you the breakdown, a systematic breakdown in bloodlines from their originating sources. This is what our entire world's history is all about. I can show you this and everything globally. I don't care what part of the world you're from, it is all stating the same thing. How your likeness, how your culture, how your bloodlines, how everything came from its originating source, which was that of our ape ancestor, our black ancestor. I'm going to end this video there. My name is Gerone Wright. You're on my Geronification channel. All I ask is that you share my video. Thank you.